Hello there, Gia.
Hi, I just realized I didn't pick out a word for you to use tonight. Damn it.
Oh, sheesh. That's too
Maybe
bad,
damn it.
isn't it?
You want to use damn it somewhere?
Damn it, I could probably figure out how to use
You could
that one.
use that one pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Finally a word I can get behind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
How we
Well,
doing? What do we have? We had Friday and today.
yeah, we sure did. And we had yeah, certainly interesting. Let's talk about Spencer.
All right. Okay. You got a bee in your bonnet about Spencer already, huh?
I do, and I'm also having a hard time, like, I don't know if
Liking
it's
him?
well, yes, yes, but also I'm feeling a little bit puzzled about, like, sorta what's going on in his head. I mean, I know he's saying that Esme's evil, he did the best thing, but it seems like he's really trying to oversimplify this sort of for his own sake, and I still can't quite figure out how he was able to just like hand Ace over to his father. I mean, knowing that his father is kind of
I simply blame the writers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's what I'm kind of trying not to say, but thinking, because it does feel like they didn't develop all
They
of that
didn't they
enough.
did the change, the sort of what could have been a gradual curve of him changing his
Yeah,
feelings about
yeah,
Nicholas,
uh-huh,
you know, didn't seem like they would have happened in the one conversation that Spencer and Nicholas had, where
yeah,
suddenly um, he was uh, having tender feelings about Nicholas and able to hand over Ace, who he'd done nothing but protect fiercely, from
right, right.
everyone, Nicholas
Hmm.
included. Nicholas,
Hmm.
maybe more than anybody,
Yeah,
he was so angry with him and so disappointed in him for leaving and not being a real father, and then so suddenly he's just going to hand him over. Like, I don't think so.
yeah,
Um,
I know, and also, like, if we could have had maybe, like, I don't know, a little more time with him believing that Esme has remembered everything and interacting with her, just to
right? Yeah, maybe it could.
that
Maybe it's
too.
a pacing issue.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like, yeah,
but
right. Maybe even just one more scene where he
right.
really knew that Esme was back.
Yeah, yeah, like, one more scene with her and one more scene with Nicholas maybe where, like, he did sort of get to see Nicholas. Like, maybe if he could have seen Nicholas interacting with Ace when Nicholas wasn't aware of it or something, and he really saw that, oh gosh, he does love Ace,
Yeah, yeah.
something, but we got none of that, Gia.
We got none of that. And even just putting all that aside, if you
Mhm.
think about a child
Yeah.
being handed to a complete stranger and taken away
Yeah.
from everything he
Mhm.
knows,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything and everyone he knows,
Mhm.
um, that just the cruelty of that
Yeah.
seems like, I don't know. I was pleased that Laura, was angry and upset
Mhm.
about it and did, because I thought, man, if they make her like
Yeah.
think this is okay, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be like, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. It seemed out of character,
Yeah.
out of it didn't make sense with what had happened
Right.
before.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And sort of what we know of Spencer at this
I
stage,
saw a headline, and you probably saw it too, about the two top writers being let go.
Oh, I didn't see that,
You didn't
Gia.
see that? No, I don't know if
Huh.
I didn't like check it out and see how legit it
Uh-huh.
was or anything, but
Okay,
maybe
huh.
that's probably why they probably were like,
Uh-huh.
"What? You let Nicholas take the?"
Maybe. Gosh, who knows? Or maybe a couple of the replacements could be hired for cheap, who knows?
Right, I did wonder. I had to wonder. I thought, all the shakeup from the strike and
Yeah.
everything, probably put everybody on shaky ground.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Uh,
I don't know. We'll see what kinds of changes that causes,
right.
but
Right. Huh. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a factor perhaps.
Yep.
Um and I did think that Laura, even though she was angry, I kind of wish she had lost her shit a little bit more. I mean, I know that's not very that wouldn't have been sort of her usual MO,
Well, she
but
wouldn't have been the Nana that we know and love. Like that's the thing with her is like even when she's angry, that she still loves you. Like
yeah. Yeah.
that you're still always her. I mean, that's what she does with Cyrus too. It's like you're family. I don't trust you. I don't like what you're doing, but she doesn't, she's just fierce about her family. Um,
Yeah, she's really good at not sort of
mm,
setting like ultimatums or saying things that you can't take back. Like she understands there's a consequence to every single thing you do, you know,
yeah, yeah.
which
Um,
sadly Spencer hasn't seemed to have got that. Didn't get that
I
gene
and we
from
and
her.
Trina doesn't know about this yet, and I'm wondering what her
Right.
reaction will be. I think she'll be pissed at him too.
Yeah, I hope so because I feel like yeah, that's part of the issue is that we've only seen him interacting with like Laura, and so we don't know like how he'll defend himself with someone else.
Yeah, I think Trina, even as much as she will be alarmed about the Esme news,
Yeah.
I think she'll be thinking of Ace's welfare.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope so. Yeah.
so I don't know. Yeah, it spells trouble for Spencer, I think, all around.
It does. It sure does,
Um,
Gia.
but
Um
really, I wish Esme, once again, she has gone to like all the scary people.
I know those are her only sort of I don't think ally is the right word, but she doesn't have too many people in her life that aren't,
Well,
you
if
know,
she'd if she'd
nuts.
been if she hadn't been had her memories returned, I don't think she
Yeah.
would have necessarily gone to them. She probably,
Yeah. Yeah.
Laura
Uh-huh.
and Kevin would have been the logical
Yeah.
um choices,
Right. It
but
would have been I guess it's stupid to talk about what would have been interesting because it's too late now, but it would have been interesting if Spencer had been mistaken initially about her getting her memories back, if that had been like an innocent sort of slip, you know,
right.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then maybe Nicholas would come back and, Spencer would like happily give him Ace thinking he was doing the right thing, and then maybe the trauma of that would like bring out the original Esme or not, maybe,
Oh,
I don't know, but
interesting.
it
Mm.
would have been interesting to see how she would have responded, if she didn't have that like demon streak, sort of
Yeah,
waiting there.
I so want her to bare her soul to Laura.
Yeah. Yeah.
To lay all her cards on the table and yes, I have remembered everything.
Mhm.
I am now former Esme, but I am also still new Esme.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
she does love Ace. I mean, in her discussion with Heather, she's she didn't seem to be making that up, right?
No, I
She's
don't think so. I think
desperate.
that's a true emotion in her, and but now is she just going to be evil about
Plus,
that, you know?
right, right, or like an evil person with a love for her child, kind of like Heather.
Like Heather, exactly. Although I was like so happy to see Heather back. I mean,
you know,
what
yeah.
a kooky thing that this actress that I really don't even know. I only vaguely know that you've told me that she was in that show. Um but now I wished I'd seen her like her whole career doing things because
Yeah, well, because she's generally, I think, been the opposite of Heather. She's been like a traditional
the
mom, like,
traditional mom thing, but
wearing a skirt and having cookies at the end of the day. It's
she's
like,
so fabulous as this
yeah,
unhinged woman.
I know. And yet she became the voice of reason during that conversation with
Right, right,
Esme.
yeah.
So that was a little bit
but for some
um,
reason I kind of believe that dichotomy. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know
right.
why. Um,
Uh-huh.
but anyway, I thought
Yeah,
that was a fun scene,
yeah,
fun development.
yeah, and
Let's see
good
what else.
casting. I mean, because we've had a great Heather before,
Oh yeah, yeah. The
you
I don't know if
know?
that was the original Heather or not. The one that I knew.
Yeah, there was one, I think she was the original, I can't be sure either, but she was Heather for a long time, and
Yeah, and she
she
was
was really
good
good. Yeah.
and believably deranged, and she
Mhm.
was the one we saw mostly with Franco playing Franco's
Yeah,
mother.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, right, yep.
Um.
But, this is one
Anyway,
case where they got a new person to come in who did, really just as good a job or sorta made it her own, the character.
but yeah, this one is like, I don't know. She's a scene stealer, a scene
Yeah.
sealer. Uh, anyway, okay, so
Anyway, yeah,
Spencer, we got
yeah.
that. What are there things that happened Friday that we should
Um,
try and address because we're diving into today really, and
yeah, we are, aren't we?
which we
Well, we
always
had
do. But
well, that's because in spite of our Nariva experiment, our
yeah,
memory is still quite poor. Damn it.
yeah,
Um, well, didn't we have the beginning of the Drew, Nina
yeah. Right, right. Yeah, the big
showdown, smackdown?
showdown. That was fun. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Did you say something? I was yawning. But you know how yawning, like, isn't it
It
weird?
blocks
Yawning cuts
out
off your
everything.
hearing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a it's a weird thing. I wonder why.
I don't know, Gia. Um,
Not a good evolutionary feature, if you're yawning and you can't hear like the leopard coming up behind you or so, like
right, and you'd think you would be yawning a lot if you're out there in the wild unprotected, right? Just on the run
uh
all the time.
because you'd be tired, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe
Uh-huh.
nervous yawning, but anyway,
Mhm. This is
interesting.
a this is a good tangent. Just when I thought we'd exhausted every ridiculous topic. Kudos to you, Gia.
I'd never thought about it before, and I just realized I can't hear when I'm yawning. It's like your jawbone comes up and blocks off your
Yeah,
ear area or something.
yeah. Kinda like sneezing seems to even if I have a really bad headache, in that second when I'm sneezing, I don't feel it, you know?
Yeah, and also your soul leaps out of your body.
I feel like I shouldn't encourage this. How do we
And that can be
rewind?
uncomfortable.
The soul leaping out of the body?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, it might be a relief.
It comes out with a little droplets of saliva and snot and stuff that you expel out of your mouth, and
Oh, so the soul is sort of a
people
liquid?
I know people kind of think of the soul as this beautiful thing, but really
It's
it's like
phlegm and
mucus and saliva. It's
oh
ugly. It's
gosh.
bodily function kind of stuff. Yeah.
I I
Yeah.
I can't
What
I
happens
can't
if you
talk to
sneeze
you
and
when you're
nobody's there
like
to
this.
say bless you, and you have to do you bless yourself to make sure it doesn't happen, you
Um,
know?
these are these are all good questions, Gia. I just
Also, I
wish you
just
were
kind of wonder
asking
about
somebody
that
else.
tradition though. Do you think about that tradition? Do you think like so there apparently really was a time when people thought that your
Uh-huh.
soul left your body when you sneezed? Like that was a real thing. That must have been quite a time.
Have you been day drinking, Gia?
No,
What
I
what's
haven't
this
eaten
all
all that much.
about?
I did mention to you that I was hungry, and so I may
Yeah.
be just be drifting here
So
a little
this
bit.
is that, like, lack of a Snickers bar, Gia, that we're
Yep,
getting
yep,
right
yeah,
now?
you're getting like the Joe Pesci. Yep,
Gia sans Snickers is,
yeah. Okay, back to the okay, so we were talking about the Nina
yeah,
Drew um our
Carly and
final scene Friday was Carly marching in her
yeah,
business
and
leather
I know
jacket
that
with her
was
hair all
supposed
curled
to
up.
be like yeah, yeah, she did look sort of dolled up, and, like, in her powerful leather
Yeah,
jacket and
yeah.
stuff, but to me, that was all like it didn't make them look better than Nina, I don't think, you know? I mean, even if Carly does make a go of Crimson, and she probably could be great because 'cause she'll get good people around her, it still feels so petty and, like, I don't know, like
Yeah,
Nina
they all kind
said,
of sank to the same level.
yeah, exactly. Thank you,
Yeah.
Gia. Exactly. So I don't feel like there's any winners there really, you know. They just
Um,
they're not moving ahead really. They're all just they're enjoying the fight too much.
well, I think that's what we're supposed to be seeing though in
I guess. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
descent of Drew, into
Right,
the
right.
sort of simian.
Yeah.
um
That would have been a good word.
I know. Damn it. Um but the other thing that I kept thinking about, and it was making me laugh, Drew was doing the hand thing so much, and he looked like he was in like a rugby scrum or a football huddle or something, and he was doing like coaching moves, and
Yeah.
like with those
Yeah.
big hands.
He just seems like such a colossal loser, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And so then when they kind of had their what
Yeah.
I think was supposed to be kind of a magical moment, because they're
Right,
going to
right.
team up and be
Yeah,
partners in all ways. I
yeah.
wasn't feeling the magic, like I didn't feel Sparkle Pony at all there. But I think we were
No,
supposed
no.
to.
I was thinking, yeah, because there was a moment there when Carly said, "What about Bobby's?" It's like,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. I mean, she had just been like sort of declaring that she wanted to do so well, and make Bobby proud, blah blah blah. And like for Drew to sort of like, I don't know, step over that plan, thinking that this would be, even more special and
Right. It was like
you
an
know
echo of that decision he made about Scout.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
thought somewhere in Carly's little phlegmy soul, she would suddenly have like the seed of misgiving would be planted, where you know how that happens, like you start to see
Well,
someone and
I feel like they've shown her having those little red flag moments,
yeah,
like maybe
yeah,
they're
maybe
sort of
they're
pink flags right now. They're kind of diluted.
right, right, yeah, like sort of moments of alarm, but
Yeah. Like
mm,
she's
yeah,
seen
now,
him be angrier at
yeah,
something than she
yeah.
thought he should be. And then I think that was Friday actually, wasn't it, when uh um what's her name
Oh
came
yeah,
in the
yeah.
diner and was supposed to meet with Drew, and he
Yeah,
had blown off
yeah,
the whole thing, and that
Sam,
should have been
right,
another
right,
um
yeah,
pinkish flag.
mhm, yeah, right,
Sam, yeah. And so I think we've seen quite a few little things where she should be kind of pulling away from him, or that's
yeah,
what I'd be doing. I'd be like, alrighty,
yeah,
you know.
right, and maybe do you think, like, the decision to go sorta all in is her trying to, like, overcome that little, like, nagging
Yeah,
feeling,
yeah,
maybe?
maybe like commit fully,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also she's an ambitious woman that,
mhm, mhm,
had things taken away from her, and so maybe just
right,
again, just a chance to shine again, like she had
mhm,
been kind of at her peak there as a hotel owner. And
yeah,
um
yeah,
so maybe it's just tempting in that way to
mhm,
think
yeah.
about running the magazine. But yeah, like you said at the start of this part, is that like seeing Drew be as nasty as he was, even though Nina
Yeah,
was deserving of that, was like, well, that just shows a really ugly side of him.
it really
Um,
did. Cause if he were a real cool customer, he coulda just sorta said his piece and that's it, but he had to, like, keep saying, like, "Just get out of here," and it was like, "Oh,
yeah,
shut up,"
it was ugly. It was very
Yeah,
ugly. Yeah,
yeah, uh, and it was sort of, like, not professional, right? If he's such a
yeah.
professional guy who's
Like
apparently an expert in the world of publishing.
Yeah. Remember on the Grinch when the
Yeah,
Grinch's heart
yeah, yeah.
grew? But well,
Uh-huh.
like you could almost see like Drew's heart being like the Grinch's original
Yeah,
heart, just like a
yeah, the
black,
greasy black banana peel.
yeah, just
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
small and
exactly, yeah.
hard and
That's
yeah,
that and he does kinda look a little bit like the Grinch now that you mention it.
a little bit, yeah. But yeah,
But
I
yeah.
was. I mean, it was kind of a delicious soapy moment, like the Carly and Nina
Mhm.
stuff, and Nina was being very campy. I thought,
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
over the top, even just the way she marched in when she
Uh-huh.
first got there with the big oversized
Right,
sunglasses on
out of
and
the
everything. It was
elevator, yeah,
yeah,
that
it
was
was
kinda good. Yeah,
pretty hysterical, and
yeah.
she. I don't know. She's as dangerous as an Esme at this point because she's like got nothing to lose anymore. Um,
Yeah, plus she's incapable of anticipating
Self-control.
consequences.
Yeah.
You know, like, all the different ways that her actions can, like, splinter off and hurt various people.
Yeah, but I mean, what does she care at this point? She really, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Um,
somehow you'd think, somewhere she should remember Willow. And it is like Esme, like, remember Ace, because whatever you
right.
do, you're making it
Yeah.
impossible to ever reunite with Ace, and
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
same with, what's her name, with Nina, and I thought, Olivia had a point, although it didn't land, but, just, bow out gracefully, basically, right?
Yeah. Oh, but that's not gonna happen because
No, because she
it's Nina
talked to
and
herself in the
she's a
mirror.
lot. She's a
She's a
lot.
lot. She said it herself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna go
Yeah.
against her nature. Um,
Yeah, right. Uh-huh. So,
but
yikes, buckle up.
yeah. What else did we have? I feel like we had some
Well,
other stuff.
before we move on, as soon as they were talking about, like, having somebody else, Carly was talking about appointing somebody else to Crimson. All I could think about was Maxie. I know that's probably not going to go anywhere, or maybe it will, but
Oh, bring Maxie to the top. Yeah, that would
yeah,
be
that
yeah.
would be my first move, is to try to get Maxie back, but
Yeah. Yeah,
we'll
because she
see.
would be the most savvy at running that, I would think.
Yep. Yep. And I
Um,
think she and Carly get along pretty well.
I was thinking about leather jackets a lot too, because I think that
Mhm.
was the same leather jacket that Carly wore on the special, like when they showed her at the end when they were
Oh,
playing.
oh,
Or
okay.
or they had her in a different leather jacket,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and I kind of like a leather jacket, and I know you're
Mhm.
anti-leather, and that it always makes me feel bad.
I
And
used to
it
like leather, yeah.
I have an ancient leather like coat jacket, not like suit,
Uh-huh,
that my
uh-huh,
mom gave me a million years ago. It was just from Target, but
uh-huh.
I mean it's ancient now, and I was wearing it this weekend because it was cold out, and I thought to
Mhm.
myself, this is so comfortable. It's like a second skin. And then I thought, it is skin.
You're you're firing on all
And
cylinders these
I
days,
kind of
Gia.
freaked myself out because I was like, is that why it's so comfortable? Because it's like a skin hanging on me. It is skin.
See, that's why I didn't like Silence of the Lambs, okay? How did you not get that?
I probably couldn't watch that movie now. And when I was younger, I like every horror movie out there, I was all over it. And then I don't know, more recently, it's like, God, I can't watch them.
Yeah, yeah, I know, because it all
You'd
seems like
already
it's
turned that corner
possible.
when I
I
made you go see that
had,
movie.
yeah. Oh, dear.
Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, Carly
Anyway,
wears it well, though. I thought,
yeah,
she's
I mean, she did look like a strong, confident woman
yeah,
there.
she was like looked like $1,000,000 striding in there to,
Yeah, yeah.
um it was like I thought they even like if they really were going to go back to like old school soaps, they would have had like a
Uh-huh.
big hair pulling cat fight at the end. But
Slaps, yeah,
yeah,
right, right.
slaps and blonde hair, tufts of blonde hair flying.
And Drew cowering in the corner like the pussy that he is.
Oh my gosh. But,
Uh,
it was good that they didn't do that, but, that would have been more like
I think
a
so.
dynasty scene or something,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know, it seems like they sort of know how not to completely cross the line,
Yeah,
between well,
but
maybe
Nina,
that's not even true, but
I almost thought Nina looked like she could have, broken out into laughter at various points, because she was really playing it kinda over the top, it was
yeah,
very funny.
yeah, and somehow she gets away with it, doesn't she? Like, but
Yeah,
because we know she's sort of, like, held together with spit and tape or something, she's
yeah,
not
but she's got good comic chops. I wish we could see
yeah.
more of, like, she and Ava joking around because 'cause they're very funny together, and they both
Yeah,
have good comic stuff,
uh-huh,
they can throw off a
yeah,
line that's very funny, but they don't get
yeah.
to be funny except with each other really.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
So I'd love
that
to
was
see
and
them
we are
hanging out more.
yeah, and I'd say we're due for a good bitch session between the 2 of them.
Oh,
But
yeah, because she's gonna need to report all this that's happened to
yeah,
her.
and then Ava's got all her shit because she saw Nicholas and
Yep,
I
yep.
and I was wondering also, when Esme went to her, which was maybe the most rational thing she did, I guess, right? Between all the people she visited, Ava was the
I
one.
guess, although she had just been being taken to court by Ava and like,
Yeah.
thinking Ava would be on her side was a little
Yeah, that was
unrealistic.
a little preposterous, but,
Yeah,
I thought
but thinking she might have seen Nicholas did make sense.
it made sense, yeah, and, I mean, I'm sure Esme wasn't thinking about all of this, but that Ava's a mother too, and maybe somehow she would have compassion, you know? I
And
don't
she did display sympathy, but she didn't, like, I would have loved it if she, like, had suddenly just treated her the way she treats Trina, you know?
Yeah, yeah, oh
But,
gosh.
is that asking too much? Maybe it would have been asking too
Well,
much.
yeah, and I don't know, I like to think Ava wouldn't inflict the same kind of pain that she's experienced, like, when Esme left, Kiki's badge, when she burned Ava's car, like, that seems like that was one of the worst things Esme did, even,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
par with what she did to Trina,
So
and
you wouldn't so therefore you wouldn't wanna see Ava forgive Esme?
well, I no,
Mm,
I don't think I'm explaining myself very well, but
you're
I
really
I
not. I don't
I don't know, sometimes I think when you've experienced a pain that's so bad, even if it was inflicted by the person who's right in front of you, you wouldn't wanna do that to somebody else, you know what I mean? So, I feel like on some level, Ava would have some compassion for Esme and wouldn't
Isn't that
resort
what
to,
I'm saying?
I guess I'm not sure.
Are we fighting?
I think so.
No, well,
Yeah.
that's what
Is
I
that what
mean,
you
though, is
yeah.
I would have loved it if Ava could have overcome herself and, like,
Yeah.
taken Esme, like, actually, like, given her a hug and suddenly, you know, been totally sympathetic and
Oh, okay, okay, I was thinking that
opened up her arms to her and, like,
uh-huh,
treated her
yeah.
the way she treats Trina, like,
Oh,
that
yeah, okay, I thought you meant, like yeah, sorry, I misunderstood. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
wow. Okay.
I was thinking, like, the
I
way
don't know what
Trina
happened there, but
I don't either, maybe we both nodded off. Did you yawn? Did we
I
both
might have
yawn
yawned and not heard
simultaneously?
something, that's
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
okay.
let's keep going, so
Anyway, but that didn't happen, so we don't have so I just feel like if somebody could have, um, shown Esme some real compassion and just human
yeah,
comfort because
yeah,
she's got to be, she's in a tailspin here and she's in
yeah,
real
yeah,
panic and pain and
uh-huh, yeah,
so if somebody could have just slowed her down and shown her a moment of comfort so she didn't
Mhm.
start
Yeah.
spinning out of control here and going to the next bad person to go, like,
Right,
because
right, yeah.
I don't know who will be the next person she'll appeal to. I don't know, like, so dig
Yeah.
Ryan up out of his grave and ask him for some help. You know,
Maybe, maybe. Well, did you think this Ava was another person where I felt like we didn't get enough scenes that to explain sort of her like warming up to Nicholas, and then how I couldn't tell today or when Esme talked to her if she was like partly protecting Nicholas or
or
disgusted
if
with
she
him for
really,
taking Ace. I wasn't sure what was going on
yeah,
in her head.
yeah. Does she really believe that he's unfindable just because he's a Cassadine? And
Right. And does she, I mean, wouldn't she think he was kind of awful for taking Ace? I mean, because he threatened to take Avery.
right, yes, I would think so. Yeah. And I don't feel like, I mean, I think we were supposed to think that she was warming up to Nicholas, like they were having sexual chemistry there or something, but I
Yeah.
didn't feel it. I had no
No, I
pants
didn't
feelings
either.
going on.
I didn't have any pants feelings either. Good use of that one, Gia.
Thanks,
But
thanks. I like to keep that stuff, in the mix.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, maybe that was part of why I wasn't getting it because I feel no chemistry
Yeah,
with
like
him
it was
at
on the
all.
page, but it didn't happen in the scene.
It
For
didn't
me, I
happen.
have seen
No.
other people online say that they like this guy in this role and that they
Uh-huh.
think he's doing a great job. And I'm not feeling it yet. I mean, maybe we need to have him
No,
on consistently,
maybe.
because we
Yeah.
just he keeps kind of being there and then not being there and being there and not being there. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So yeah, that's possible, I suppose.
yeah. Anyway, what else did we
Anyway.
have? We had the Adam stuff, which I've kind of
Uh,
blocked because I thought that was
yeah.
really, really bungled. The father,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
was that a contest winner, perhaps?
Well, yes, clearly.
Was it?
Uh,
Did
well, I think I don't know, but it did seem like there was so much build up to like who are his parents going to turn out to be, you
and is
know.
that some actor I should know or somebody from another soap or something? Or
I don't think so, Gia. He just seemed like a dink for hire, and
there's so many of those. Like
I know, I know. They probably could have used like a dink that they've used before and we wouldn't have
we
cared,
wouldn't have known, yeah. And I
Yeah.
was bummed because I thought there was so much buildup from Adam
Yes.
about,
Yes.
oh, his
Uh-huh.
parents are awful, his parents are awful. And so, of course, I thought, well, his parents aren't going to be as awful. They'll be
Oh,
that
you thought they'd
twist
be
of,
sweet. That would be
well, or
funny.
they'd be like, he would have misinterpreted some
Uh-huh.
firmness on their part or something, but there would have been
Uh-huh.
compassion, you
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah.
Um, but no, the guy's just as dinky as Adam told us he was. And,
Yeah, it's just like he's a one note kind of an
yeah,
asshole.
yeah.
So what do you do with that? And is he gonna stick around? It did kind of seem like a missed opportunity for a variety of reasons. I thought it
Yeah,
would
and
have been
also
would have
because,
been sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, if they want us to care about this new Adam character that they seem to
Mhm.
want us to care about,
Yeah.
then, make this storyline as good as you can, not,
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta throw a little effort into it. And it would have been interest I don't know why they couldn't have had both of his parents show up. That would have
Yeah,
then you would have
right.
gotten the dynamic of the 2 parents. Are they
Yeah.
the same way, or is the wife, like, gonna be like a meek person who just goes along with her husband? Who knows?
Like,
But,
that's like me. That's a lot like me.
uh
I also thought Portia. I had a moment like when Portia went in to talk to Adam, and he was, all anxious to get out, and just kept
Yeah.
talking about, well, you got to release me, and
Uh-huh.
she was sort of calmly explaining the procedure that would have to
Mhm.
be followed before he could be released. And at first I was like, okay, I'm liking this Portia. She's not squealy. She's actually in her
Uh-huh.
professional role, and I'm believing her. But then she
Yeah.
sort of left on a note of like a little bit of judginess, and I thought,
Yeah.
and she didn't. She just kind of marched out of there, and she didn't like. She could have softened the moment by maybe even like just touching his leg as she left, or his foot, or so. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there was
Yeah.
a coldness in her
Mhm.
departure from the room. I don't know if you remember that moment really, but and
Yeah,
then she
well,
went out and kind of said, "There's so much of this going on," but she said it in kind of like a judgy way, like
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
to deal with
Yeah.
all these depressed teenagers. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like she wasn't like a fully formed character, or doctor at least, like that part of her hasn't been like fully formed because
And I swear to God, did she come on as an obstetrician?
I don't remember. I don't remember Gia.
Maybe I'm misremembering. I could
But
be
she
misremembering.
seemed
Where Nariva, save me!
it can't, Gia, it can't. It's not
I
meant
know,
to.
and we're like almost to the end of our experiment, and I mean, I feel
Mhm.
pretty good, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I feel like any sharper.
I don't think anybody would say that we are any sharper. Maybe when
We should have, I guess
Bella.
I'll ask my husband, like, do I seem any sharper than,
Oh, you sure you want to ask that
don't
question?
go down that, don't open that door, huh?
How quickly will he answer that one? I can just picture, nope.
And I'll be like, wait, I just yawned. I couldn't hear you. Okay.
Oh God.
Uh, so,
These will be known as the Nariva episodes.
the Nariva era, yes.
Yeah.
What would we
Um,
try next? I don't
no,
know.
I don't. Well, I
Maybe
guess
Red Bull. Like a month of
maybe that
a daily
that
Red Bull and see if that
yeah,
sharpens us up
it
any.
might. It just might, Gia.
I think, and this only goes so far. Like once the actual dementia has set in,
Yeah, you can't
there's no
reverse it.
saving it. But
Yeah.
um, I think that knowing your weaknesses and having um, routines that help you compensate, like that's my
Yeah.
methodology in life, really.
That was my mom's, I think. Yeah, she had sort of things worked out, so it didn't expose her
Oh, sure. Like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, my mom had that, I think, too, like when she was in the phase where she knew something was up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but she was trying to kind of hide it. And,
Yeah.
um, so, but I just mean in general, like my weak areas, like, well, I know I'm weak at math, but so I have a calculator on my phone. I don't hesitate to use it, and I know I have no sense of direction, so I use my GPS. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
That's
I know I'm
yeah,
not going to remember whatever, so I keep lists all the time, all over
yeah,
the place.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, maybe that weakens my memory. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's a good point, Gia. I don't think it would.
Yeah,
It
I don't know
seems
if
like
that's got legs. That's kind of like my theory that the crosswords are causing Alzheimer's.
wow, that's controversial.
It's not everybody's gonna go with that.
No.
Uh, but it just didn't, kind of occurred to me that, like, gosh, a lot of people I know that were into crosswords then developed.
Just go ahead and say it, Gia. God.
So I steer clear. Also they make me feel bad about myself because I can't do.
Oh man.
It's really not a funny topic, but it's good that we can, have fun with it.
You gotta laugh. I mean, for crying out loud,
Oh,
that's
I
all
know.
we have at the end of the day is a nice laugh.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think plenty of people have those little sort of workarounds, when they recognize a weakness in themselves, it's just
Yeah, like another thing in traffic, I'm kind of terrified of left turns, so I just don't do
uh-huh.
them really.
So you just go in a loop.
I go right, and then I'll do a U-turn somewhere or whatever. I just like that leaping into. I think I have
Yeah.
depth perception problems, but you know how like
Uh-huh.
you'll have to cut across traffic to make a left turn, and
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
leap out and kind of hesitate like at the
Uh-huh.
island area and then get in the
Uh-huh.
traffic. I will never
Yeah.
do that because I'm
Okay.
like I'm going to overshoot and land in the, you know, like so I just
Um,
go right and then turn around. I don't care. What do I care?
I listen, Gia. I can't do this all by myself. You've got to come back
Sorry.
to us.
Do you want to talk about General Hospital? I feel like we talked about everything that was important. That's why I'm just sort of
And now
I'm
you're
riffing. Now I'm just
yes.
riffing.
There's a little advice buried in there, but then also a lot of neuroses and then just some wackiness. Oh, god.
Uh, well,
Yeah.
maybe I've made somebody feel better about themselves. You don't know.
No, I bet you have. Bet you have. They're saying, "Oh, good, somebody else launches themselves into the oncoming
I
traffic
came,
too."
I came up with a like an idea for a YouTube series for me and my husband, and
Uh-huh.
it's just gonna be me asking stupid questions, and he's gonna have to explain stuff to me, and
So
mostly
do you
about like music and like musical gear and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
we're gonna
Okay.
start with like what is a watt,
Okay. Okay.
like we're gonna start at the bottom.
That would be a good title for your series, "What is a Watt?"
What is a watt? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like once again, I feel like just me exposing myself as a complete idiot,
Yeah, yeah,
not
uh-huh.
in the naked way, but just as an idiot, and
Sort of
I'll it'll
yeah.
like people will feel okay about themselves to be like they had that question too, but they
Mhm.
didn't want to
Yeah.
admit it.
Right,
And
right, yeah, and they didn't
I
even
feel
wanna
like that's
Google it
kind of
because
what
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of what I have to offer the world. Like
I see. Okay. You're just yeah, you're willing to lower the bar sort of for everybody.
I don't think of it that way. It's not lowering the bar. Just like
There is no bar.
I'm just like I'm willing to go ahead and to like I don't have any pride. I'm willing to be
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
and like go ahead and try and
Uh-huh.
find the answers. Like I'm not
Uh-huh.
gonna pretend I know something if I don't know it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. God, sometimes I
Anyway,
wish you would.
everybody does, I'm sure. Do you have anything else to say about General Hospital? For God's sake,
I
stay on topic.
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I would like to say that I even though Scotty wasn't, like, in his, like, full, like,
Oh yeah, we
funny,
had Scotty
wacky
stuff. Yeah,
form,
yeah, yeah.
I always enjoy seeing Scotty, and I
Yeah,
don't know
I do
what,
too. Yeah,
you know, I don't know what
I do
Tracy
too.
was thinking. She was sort of playing along
Yeah,
with him in the end there.
I think she was playing along. I think she's still trying to play the player.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know the Lucy Martin stuff. I'm just not invested in them anymore. I feel like
No, they kinda spoiled that, didn't they,
they
for
kind of
us?
yeah they kind of took the magic away from them, and I don't know
Yeah.
eh, I couldn't pinpoint where it went, where it leaked out,
Right, right. Because it
but
felt
it
like
kind
maybe
of
we had
did.
yawned for, like, half an hour or something and missed some really
Yeah,
significant
missed
stuff.
something, but I'm kind of not gonna care that much if they break up.
Yeah. Right, right, I
Um,
know. That's too bad because that was a pretty good, interesting well, maybe
it
not
was interesting,
interesting,
and
but
it was one of those moments where I was surprised when they got them together, and I love being surprised like that, and then
yeah,
having them
yeah.
work as a couple, it was so great. Um,
Yeah, they did work as a couple, and that seems to be one of the hardest things for these shows to
right,
do is
right. They
create
keep like
couples and
forcing the like Elizabeth and Finn and Carly and
Yeah.
Drew, these couples that
Yeah.
don't work and
Right.
they just they
They
like
jam
hammer
one
it.
down your throat. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat a dead horse but
Mhm.
then they've got a couple that worked and they let it fizzle
Mhm.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, the other
dear.
thing we had was the Gregory scene with asking him to
Yeah.
officiate, which was kind of sad, but I don't know,
Yeah.
I wasn't like
It's yeah, it's
transported with emotion or anything, but
no, I mean, and I thought like both Brooklyn and Chase both seemed very sweet and lovely, but it seemed like they were trying to like drum up some suspense, like, ooh, what's gonna
yeah,
happen at the wedding? And I don't want that, I don't want to like
yeah,
exploit his ALS
right,
just for the sake
right,
of a little drama.
right,
So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
So I don't know. They went for something there, but it was like bit of a miss, maybe we
Yes.
could say.
Yes, swing and a miss.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that kind of sums it up. We only had the 2 episodes,
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
so it wasn't big happenings. But yeah, we'll have to see if this whole firing of the head writers was for real or what that's
Uh-huh.
about.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, that wouldn't we wouldn't notice anything for weeks. I'm assuming because they would have
Yeah.
had episodes in the can already.
Uh-huh. Sure. Sure. But also it seems like, I mean, I don't know, we've watched for years and there are times definitely where the writing sort of like fails or, it weakens and you kind of get the feeling like after this experience with the strike that writers probably definitely could use a break, and then they come back sort of reinvigorated, It must be really hard to do this all the time, year
Day
after
after day, yeah, yeah.
year.
Well, and yeah, may also, I mean, yeah, they do need a break, I'm sure, but also like, um, that had to have been like just terrifying to see other people doing your job, and so
Yeah,
if you've
yeah.
gotten kind of lackadaisical about things, you would
Mhm.
really be
Yeah.
sharpened
Uh-huh.
quickly.
Yep.
I would think by like
Yeah. You try to come back and prove your worth, I
Yeah,
guess.
prove yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like if you're, a musician and you're playing a gig and somebody
Yeah.
else walks in that's a really good musician, you're like suddenly you'll be like, "Whoa," and you're not gonna
Yeah.
phone it in at that point. You're gonna like
Yeah. Yeah.
try
That's
to
right.
raise your game.
Right, or like when talk show hosts, like when they go on vacation, sometimes like I think
Oh yeah, people fill in and yeah.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
and they never want somebody who's as good as them to fill in. They always want it to be somebody who's kind of crappy, so there's no
Oh, you
threat.
think they do that on purpose? Like, is
I
that?
think so. I think so,
Oh,
Gia.
remember when Joan Rivers used to fill in for Johnny Carson?
Yeah, yeah, that's weird
I'm
because I
really,
don't
I
think
am
they even
that old.
I know, and I was just thinking as I was saying that, it doesn't seem like they do that much anymore. They just show reruns, right? Instead of
Right? Yeah,
having
yeah.
like a
I thought she was good at that. I like Joan Rivers.
she was
She was
sassy.
crass and sassy and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and probably in those days, it was sort of much tougher to be a female comedian, you know?
Yeah, yeah, like Phyllis Diller, there's
Yeah.
quite a I'm so old. If you're younger than us and you're listening, you don't know these names, so it's okay. It's all right.
Ask your grandmother.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. All right. Well,
Alright.
unless you want me to riff on some other topic of nonsense, then
I
could
think
wrap it
we
up.
I think we've had our fill, but thanks for the
Was a
offer.
little glimpse into my whimsical brain, which is
Yeah, and
can be terrifying.
if
Yeah.
you and your husband do launch your YouTube series, we can
Yeah,
plug it
what do you think
here.
that's good?
Yep. What is a watt?
What is a what? We'll start with that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, perfect. Okay,
Okay, well,
Gia.
you have a lovely evening, and thanks to anybody who's still listening. We appreciate you.
Yes, we sure do. All right, Gia, good
All
night.
right, we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.